You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something about sort of the gaming drag today. I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of a Changeling Tale, Grace's Path. It's been a little while, y'all, so I'm gonna keep hammering away at this particular route. Alright, let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. I'm going to be focusing from here on out on 3 of these interchangeable games. I think y'all at this point know what I'm talking about. These games that I haven't been playing for a little while, so I'm going to try and focus on 3 of them at a time, along with my little regular rotation that I do like every day. So that way, hopefully, we can start getting them out of the way. All right. Anyway, alarm chain, you're up, and let's go. I can't just leave Grace adrift. No matter what Alana says, I'm still worried about her. I need to see her again. Anyway, we'd have a hard time down in all these fish bar sales, eh? I get the sense that Hazel would like nothing to do with my fish or my fishy escapades. I oblige her, pick up the bucket, and head down to the loch on foot. The waters are calm and the shore is peaceful. A lovely time and place for a picnic, if not for my stomach being tied in knots. I tell myself there's no need to be nervous. Never mind Alana, never mind Grace's scales. Right now I'm just here to enjoy a light meal on a beautiful day with good company. Company who presently seems to be missing in action. Could she possibly have returned home to her sister? After a moment I laughed loud at the thought. No, that's not the Grace I know. If anything, she may have taken to cruising the whole length of the loch by now. I set down the pail of fish, gathered some dry brush, and began making a small fire pit on the beach. If the smell of grilled fish doesn't attract her, maybe the smoke signals will. I'm pretty sure I've already done this particular route. For a second. Huh. Maybe? I mean, this particular section, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it just didn't save properly. Okay. Oh, let me check my, autosaves. Nope, okay. Looks like it's fine. Alright. Okay. The kindling has grown into a proper flame by the time I spy a pink dot in the middle of the loch. It gets closer, and soon enough, Grace's dress comes into focus. It's dripping wet as she steps out of the water. Soggy is the girl wearing it. You came! Okay, no, so this is the correct one. Okay. I did. I've become bearing gifts. A trail of drips follows Grace as she comes on shore to inspect the pail. Up close, I can see that her condition is not improved. There we go. Perch! You remembered! Aye, fresh from the market. That's dandy. Don't need that fire though, Malcolm. I prefer my fish raw. Raw? Oh, Grace. That can't be good for you. No problem. Not if they're really fresh. What's this? She skips back into the surf and dives in head first. A few dozen yards out she emerges, flipping and turning nimbly. I can see how the fishmonger might mistake her for a sea nymph. It's incredible how acrobatic she's become. I'm charmed and perplexed. I guess that's life with her every day. Bending at the waist, she curves her body into the water like a porpoise. A few minutes later, she comes back up with a fish in her mouth. What's wrong? Fish still wriggles pathetically in her mouth. No, I've plenty here, thank you. Grace pulls her treat from her lips, dangles it above her gaping mouth, and lets it drop. The stomach drops as well. So good, so salty, so fresh. Well, it sounds like you're describing yourself, Grace. She comes to me, pinching my sides. You devil! I let her chase me around the fire until we tumble adjacent each other on the fine pebble beach. You know, that fire was never for the fish. I built it simply so that sparks could fly between us, Grace. No puns! She flicks a pebble at me, then smiles. This is my favorite way to see you, Grace. Happy. You'd better get used to it then. Seeing you. Me being happy. She gives me an odd look, starry-eyed with a hint of remorse. You know what, Malcolm? Now that I've taught myself to fish, They run the fishmonger out of business? Huh, no, I was thinking I could actually do it. Survive out here. There's a fresh spring behind the castle ruins and... She looks at me pleadingly, as if not to question her. I could live in open waters forever. I have a real home now. Let her words sink in. They don't surprise me, but that doesn't make them any easier to hear. So you won't go back. I didn't say that. The idea's there. The seed planted. I can tell she's strongly considering it, as she truly thought everything through. Grace, take it from me. There's more to survival than food and drink. Think about it when the winter squalls come in off the North Sea. I can take shelter in the grotto. My body will keep me warm. Her mouth hangs half open for a moment. Perhaps she has thought this through. I changed tactics. What about your sister? What about the villagers? Marion will be fine. She'll adapt just as I have. And the villagers, they'll never need to know. They already do, Grace. There are rumours in town. The fishmonger, he's seen a mermaid, he says. Oh, I should love to meet her. I'm certain we'd be fast friends. It's no laughing matter. If you're planning on staying out here, you must be careful. We don't know what's happening to you, and the last thing you need is unwanted attention. From whom? An old fisherman pining him after imaginary sea nymphs? Nay, from villagers, outsiders, people who would shun you, hunt you, try to capture you, humiliate you. You sound fearful. I am. She rolls her eyes. You're overreacting. Who would believe a fisherman anyway? People don't pay heed to sailor superstitions anymore. Grace looks wistfully out to the water and then to her scaly arms. Even if they should. I sigh to myself. Who she asks, would believe a fisherman's superstitions? Alana would. Do I honestly tell a woman I'm attracted to that her school teacher says I'm causing her to turn into a sea creature? I'd be made a fool, wouldn't I? Tell her. Alright, let's actually save that part right there. Okay, alright. Tell her. I suppose she has a right to know. I have a right to commiserate with someone over Alana's peculiar random madness. Well, as it happens, I ran into Alana this morning. Oh, how is the old bat? Batty as ever. She said the craziest thing. I recount my encounter with an old school teacher at the market. Grace listens intently, her eyes getting wider with every word. I believe it. Every single bit. You do? I should have known these two would be in cahoots. Aye, I wonder if she can tell me more. I fear what will occur when Grace meets up with Alana and her mystical beliefs. Something cataclysmic, no doubt. Grace, she's as concerned about you as the rest of us. Doesn't it trouble you that the one woman who claims to know what's going on is also worried about your changes? It's not just physical changes, Malcolm. I feel more comfortable in my own scales than I've ever felt before. Your own skin, don't you mean? Open your eyes. Scales, Malcolm. Webbing. Fins. A tail. Don't these bear a shred of truth to this fantasy? Like, what's that? A tail now? Grace blushes as if she let slip mention of a private part. Just a number of a thing. What I have a feeling it's just the beginning. Oh. She gets up and bends over, giving me a view of her tail, and so much more. Oh, Grace, mind your propriety. It's nothing you haven't seen. Besides, you asked. Go on, feel it. I swallow and press gently on the spongy protrusion. It not only pushes back, it emerges further. Oh no! I try to push it back in. Ow, Malcolm, stop! It inches out more right before my eyes. She slaps my hand away and reaches back to rub her new appendage. It hurts? It didn't until you started poking at it. Mind swirls. She's right. There are fewer and fewer ways that this could be passed off as mere skin condition. But then if Alana was right about these changes, does that mean there's also a grain of truth to her accusation? They really play a role in them. Dude, you just poked the tail and it grew bigger. Grace, you need to know. Alana said that somehow I was the one prompting these changes. And if I continue seeing you, they'll only get worse, and the consequences of that. Would be dire. It's always tell, never listen. Grace turns and sits back down, scowling. Everyone, every single person has a place in our town, but not me. By fate or circumstance, I've never fit in. I want to mention Jessie, but hold my tongue in fear that Grace will agree and use it as fuel to her fire, her dream to leave. I'm finally getting the freedom I've always wanted. And Malcolm, if you're at all responsible for it, then, well, I guess I owe you an enormous debt of gratitude. I'll have to find a way to repay you. Just wait, Grace. Think for 1 minute. What if Alana is right? We don't know what could happen. What if things become out of your control? Everything's always been out of my control. For the first time, I feel like I'm holding the reins. Do I know what's next? No, not entirely. But trust me, Malcolm. I know what's best for me. I believe you believe that. Try to see it from our perspective, though. It's hard not to worry. I hear Lana's words echoing back in my head. You don't have to believe it for it to be true. There's nothing to be afraid of. Deep down, I'm positive that this is meant to be. Positive there's nothing fishy about it. Another pebble strikes me squarely in the cheek. Malcolm, no puns! Grace stands and brushes sand off her dress. She gestures towards the loch, a dreamy look in her eye. There's an entirely different world under there. A world you and I have only caught glimpses of. The keys to that kingdom, they're finally within my grasp. She holds out her hand, the weapon stretched taut between her dainty fingers. Let me show you. Take the plunge, baby. Ooh, woo. Her hand outstretched before me, I finally realize I trust her. I don't know for certain what's happening to Grace, but I must trust her. Come what may, she deserves that. I stand up and take her hand. In an instant, Grace and I are rocketing towards the water. She drags me behind her with a vice grip, and it's all I can do to keep my footing as we race into the pebbly shallows. I desperately try to slough off my overcoat. Wait, my I gargle and gasp for air, in shock from the sudden freezing immersion. Grace floats beside me, laughing, shaking her wet hair to and fro. Oh, and they'll dry it eventually, come on! I've barely steadied my breathing, my arm is yanked again. She tows me out further and further from shore, swimming with a strength belied by her slender frame. Each bump of her leg sends a splash over my head. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!